What's up guys, Chris here with another 4 Nights of the Apocalypse manga chapter review. It has been 2 weeks since my last chapter review, and I did a Lancelot theory video in between last chapter and this chapter, which again did very well, and I really hope this review does well as well. I said as well multiple times in the same sentence. Anyway, this chapter was everything I wanted, and once again I basically predicted how this chapter would end, and I am so happy because this entire chapter was really basically just fan service the entire time to 7 Deadly Sins fans. So, before I get into the actual video, don't forget to like and subscribe and hit the notification bell for updates on future videos. It really does help. Don't forget to check me out on Twitter and Instagram for updates on future videos as well as updates on what's going on in my life and what else I'm doing. I've also got some other stuff planned from this point onward. I'm trying to do some more stuff on the channel. If you haven't noticed, I have basically stopped my Eden Zero chapter reviews for the moment, as right now I can't afford to do more than maybe 1 chapter review a week. Maybe 1 other miscellaneous video outside of the chapter reviews, as I do have some other stuff planned for the channel and I do want to balance it out more. I might do some bigger videos for Eden Zero in the future, but I just figured since some Eden Zero fans on the channel might stumble onto this video and watch these videos as well, there's a little update video as well. But anyway, let's get on to chapter 51, The King of Leonis. And we basically start off with a nice 2-page spread showing the entire group walking through Leonis, heading straight towards the castle, as they're basically getting like culture shock, everyone except for Donnie, as they're in a big city, in a big kingdom for the first time, on basically being from a small town, and Percival is just completely overwhelmed. And I like how Lancelot and Donnie are basically just like walking around as business as usual, but they reach the castle eventually, and I gotta admit, even Donnie's nervous about meeting Meliodas, so it's obvious that despite Hauser being his uncle, and him actually training as a holy knight, he never met Meliodas apparently. So this is a fun piece of information. But anyway, we get to the door, we see the guards, they're asking what the group is doing there, and Lancelot shows up saying that they're here on the king's orders, as Lancelot is recognized by the castle guards. And Lancelot says that since they're here to see the king. And I like how everyone's just up and nervous about this whole situation. But then one of the guards is about to say that His Majesty just left the castle to go party, and then he just gets hit in the head by the other guard. And the other guard just straight up says His Majesty is making his rounds on castle property. And I like everyone's reactions as they are literally just, oh man, they're quite literally reacting to the fact and thinking that Meliodas might actually be some kind of bum that isn't acting like a king. And even Lancelot is, I'm sorry if I'm being like super emotional right now, but Lancelot is even like, oh god damn it, that bum. And I like how he just accepts the situation right there and just tells them to just go kill time until he comes back, until they realize this entire time Percival was not there. Percival had disappeared already, so that's kind of hilarious. And we see Percival just wandering around the kingdom, just awestruck at everything he sees. And I like how he's just a simple country bumpkin, fish out of water for this guy. And I gotta admit, I really like seeing these types of interactions. But we don't get Percival alone for long, as essentially he bumps into a familiar character, Dreyfus, and his back kind of just gave out. So Percival volunteers to help him out. We then see Hendrickson come out of his free clinic, checking up on Dreyfus. Dreyfus shows that his back is being healed by Percival's mini magic golem, and even Hendrickson's not entirely sure what exactly it is. Maybe some kind of new compress, as we see that Percival decided to do Dreyfus's delivery for him, as he's trying to look for this boar place. And then, from behind, we see someone say, my, wondering if those are the stuff from Hendrickson's clinic, as he walks towards Percival. The shipment was late, and he went out to see what was going on. And I like how he mentions the Boar Hat, and states that it is the best tavern across Britannia. This is a very famous place. He then looks over at the dragon handle, and is basically about to say what it is, as Percival just straight up says, this is the piece of common ritual of darkness. If you bring it all together with all the other pieces, it'll make bad things happen. And him and his friends took it from a bunch of bad guys. And if you couldn't tell, this is Meliodas. And he's just continuing to just talk to Percival like nothing's going on, like nothing's happening, as they finally make it to the place where this entire franchise has begun, the Boar Hat Tavern. As Meliodas states that it's his pride and joy, and that he just called it the Boar Hat because it was on the back of a giant boar's head. And it's the third version of this bar, and it's hilarious because this is true. The boar hat has been destroyed 2 times in the entirety of the 7 Deadly Sins, which is kind of hilarious. And Percival is awestruck at the fact that there was a boar that big in the first place. So anyway, they go inside, Percival lays his stuff down, and Meliodas asks him if he's hungry. And he presents him with a giant pudding, saying that it's the Boar Hat's special pudding. And said that it's probably, or hopefully, his latest masterpiece. Fans of the 7 Deadly Sins, you guys know what's gonna come next. Percival takes a bite, and then he gets a whole slew of different things happen to him. Sweetness, spiciness, bitterness, smelliness, and possibly poison. He starts to see stars. He sees his grandpa calling him over, and he somehow sees his friends just doing weird stuff, as he then wakes up from like a stomach virus. So yeah, Meliodas basically accidentally poisoned someone again with his terrible cooking. After 16 years, Meliodas could still not cook for shit. That's hilarious, and I love it. Oh man, this is exactly something that Meliodas would do, still being unable to cook a single meal. I guess that means Elizabeth did all the cooking for the Boar Hat or something like that. But anyway, Percival realizes that Meliodas knew his name, and Meliodas just looks at Percival's helm with the scratch on it and the Ouroboros brooch on his cape, and states that he never thought that Vargas' grandkid would be one of the 4 Knights of the Apocalypse, shocking Percival about how he knows his grandpa. And Meliodas tells him to calm down as he introduces himself as the Tavern Keeper Meliodas, as well as the King of Leonis, as we get Meliodas' full face reveal at the end of the chapter, looking exactly as he did from the entire series' beginning. So, yeah, I gotta admit, this chapter was just all-around fun fan service. We got to see Hendrickson, we got to see Dreyfus, Percival walking around the kingdom, seeing that Meliodas has not changed a single bit, still being the goofy, lackadaisical guy he's always been. We're going off the party and run the Boar Hat on the side, and I gotta admit, I predicted that we were going to meet Meliodas in the Boar Hat and not in the castle. I was right that he wasn't going to be at the castle in the first place, but still, I did not expect this to happen almost exactly as I thought it would be. The only difference is, it's Percival that met Meliodas all on his own. So, I gotta admit, this was very, very awesome. And I have to commend Nakaba Suzuki for basically, despite 7 Deadly Sins fans knowing what Meliodas looks like, going through this entire chapter, just not showing his full face, teasing us ever so slightly to the potential that maybe Meliodas has a different looking design. But he doesn't. He's the exact same as he's always been, considering that he is a demon. So yeah, now that we've met Meliodas, we have to speculate what's going to happen next. So first off, Meliodas is going to explain that Lancelot is a member of the 4 Knights, perhaps introduce Percival to his son Tristan. We might get to see Tristan and Elizabeth next chapter, and maybe some more insight on the 4 Knights of the Apocalypse prophecy and what the heck is going on with Arthur. Because going to Leonis has been the goal since the series began a year ago. Ever since Sin, who was Lancelot in disguise, found Percival and decided to bring him to Leonis. Now this is something that I am very happy with, because it looks like we're finally going to get some answers, and Meliodas is the character that is going to give it to us. This is Meliodas we're talking about. Chances are he's probably just going to goof around a little bit before giving us a straightforward answer. But yeah, I really do feel like that this Leonis arc is going to lead up to us getting some major reveals, showing us Tristan, and potentially telling us the identity of the 4th Knight of the Apocalypse, which is either going to be King and Deanne's child, which I kind of hope it is, because it does mean 7 Deadly Sins the Next Generation, or perhaps as a curveball, maybe it'll end up being the child of Zeldris and Gelda. That's another theory that's going around that I like as well, and they're both really awesome theories that I just cannot wait to see which one comes true. There's also the possibility it's an entirely new character altogether, but we'll just have to find out and see. But yeah, overall, this chapter was done relatively quickly. Nothing too big happened. It was literally just Percival meeting Meliodas, and us getting set up for the next chapter. Do I think this chapter was worth the 2-week wait? Yes, actually. While we didn't get any big reveals, there is one reveal that we need to talk about, and that's the fact that Meliodas knew Percival's grandfather. And this gives us some actual context for the very first chapter, as Vargas was stated to have betrayed King Arthur or just turned his back on him, similar to Ironside to an extent at the beginning. So what this could mean is the fact that Vongus saw what was going on with Arthur and told Meliodas about it, sided with Meliodas instead of Arthur, and then decided to go into hiding due to everything that's going on and the fact that there's going to be a war between Camelot and Leonis, potentially Benwick and the Fairy King's Forest, if that's how things are going to play out. Which also means that Meliodas already knew of Percival's existence, like from the very beginning, ever since he was born. How he knows is unclear, but again, next chapter is being set up to be the chapter that sets up all of the answers and also set up the rest of the story. We don't know what's going to happen next and how long Four Knights of the Apocalypse is going to run. And this is a weekly series, so this can get done relatively quickly within the next 2 years. If Nakaba Suzuki really wants to go that far and make this series go on for a short time. But yeah, that was chapter 51 of the Four Knights of the Apocalypse. Very short, very quick, and we basically just got straight to the point. And I kinda loved it. We finally got both protagonists of the two separate series to meet. And I just can't wait to see their interactions. And I know I'm rambling right now, but I'm just so happy, so excited to see Meliodas back in the story. He is the third Sin to show up in the series. First it was Merlin, then it was Gother, and now it's Meliodas. And I just cannot wait to see who else is going to show up. Could it be Bond, King or Elaine? King or Deanne? I said King and Elaine. King or Deanne? Who knows? But I'm excited. I know all of you are excited as well. So for now, leave your thoughts and opinions down below on what do you think is going to happen next in the Four Knights of the Apocalypse. Whether or not next chapter is going to be full-on exposition or just us getting classic Meliodas interacting with Percival and only getting a few answers before Lancelot shows up with the rest of the group. And with all that said and done, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Leave your thoughts and opinions down below. Don't forget to check out my Patreon and Ko-fi accounts if you want to support the channel more directly. When it comes to bigger videos, I am going to be posting them up on Patreon first, if you guys want early access to those videos, unless you guys want to wait another day or two for the full video to be released on YouTube publicly. I do appreciate the support if you can give it to me, as I do want more videos to come out, whether it be chapter reviews or just the larger videos that I have planned for this channel. And I have a lot of stuff planned that I know you guys are going to love and enjoy. But yeah, with all that said and done, I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I hope you all have an awesome day.